friends, DePauw alumni, as University Chaplain and Associate Dean, I, Maureen Knudsen Langdoc, am honored to welcome you to this gathering of remembrance for DePauw alumni and friends. Today, you will be invited to join me in a time of reflection and remembering as we honor and share affection for those who are no longer with us in the ways they once were. The ways they once were is not a casual phrase. The death of a beloved companion can sometimes be followed by an almost unbearable absence, such that the absence itself becomes a sort of presence, the palpable presence of absence. It's the overwhelming feeling that someone is missing from the table. Someone should be walking in the door. Someone should be lying next to us. Someone should be celebrating Alumni Weekend. When our loved ones are not with us in the ways they once were, smells and sounds can unexpectedly transport us to a different time and place. We can sit with those memories and be grateful for them, while also wishing, sometimes aching for them to be more. So this phrase, no longer with us in the ways they once were, is not an attempt to diminish our loss, justify our pain, or look for a silver lining. If we have learned anything during this past year, it's the reminder that physical presence matters. Memories are not the same as moments together. So while remembering our loved ones is not a way to try circumvent grief or belittle the agony of death, we remember to acknowledge that our lives are intertwined with those around us, and that we belong to a community larger than ourselves, to bear witness to the truth that life is largely about being with one another. As we remember, we honor the legacy of our loved ones, the ways their gifts and graces have forever influenced us and our community. We recall those who have reminded us who we are, those who have encouraged and inspired us in such significant ways that we can honestly say they will always be with us, albeit not in the ways that they once were. So today, as part of our alumni gatherings, we pause to remember, to reflect, and to give thanks, to hold space for memories and to cherish the gifts that we have received. This past year has not been a particularly easy one for many people. And for those who are grieving, figuring out how and what that looks like virtually, with limitations on gathering size and guidelines about keeping physical distance, it's even more challenging and strange. Yet as awkward as this may seem in our virtual context, I'm going to invite you to pause this video in a moment and find a candle that you might light as a way to mark this significant moment. So if you'd like to find and light a candle, you can pause the video now to do so. As we light this candle, I invite you to take a deep breath and join me in a litany of reflection. I'll offer a phrase and then invite you to respond aloud, reciting the bold print. I know it may seem a bit odd if you're seated alone in front of your computer, but your voice matters. And together, even when we are not with each other in the ways we are accustomed to during Alumni Weekend, you can trust that others are doing the same, sharing their voice as we take a moment to remember. For a moment now, we stand and look back, and in our hearts name those who have traveled this journey but are no longer with us in the ways they once were. For a moment now, we stand and look ahead for the days that have been shaped by friendships and possibilities. For a moment now, we stand and look around and see how we now inherit the mantle of this place. For a moment now, we look down and we see the ground that we have shared in common. And for a moment now, we look above and capture the fullness of hope and trust for tomorrow. The fullness of hope and the trust we have for tomorrow is closely related to the ways that we remember. Because somehow when we remember, we too are remembered. We are reconnected, held, joined, knit together as individuals and as a community. In this way, our loved ones do remain with us. Their legacy continues. Our love for them endures, and our hope for tomorrow is birthed from this mysterious gift that allows our loved ones to be with us always, even if not in the ways they once were. Beloved friends, thank you for joining me, for taking a moment to remember. And now, go in peace, remembering and honoring the legacy of our dear friends as you live lives for and with one another. Amen.